What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your pre-market watch list. Today we got a couple stocks to run over, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. First thing that I want to point out is OVID. OVID is probably the most popular penny stock this morning, and the only reason why is because of its volatility. It's gone from $3 to $6. Had a nice pullback here, had a nice bounce here, had a nice pullback here, consolidating now. So a lot of people are attracted to this. It's trading on very heavy volume. It also has some pretty good news this morning regarding, I think the FDA maybe, I could be wrong, maybe it's not FDA. Some secures global rights from OVID Therapeutics to developing commercialize something treatment for children and adults. Okay. So it does have some news. It's got a couple hit pieces so far today. It's been trading pretty good. This stock is it? So this stock is easy to borrow on Thinkorswim, and it's easy to borrow across many platforms. So, in a situation like this could create a good long. So, the way I look at this is like the first penny stock in a long time that people on Thinkorswim are going to be able to short, or a lot of retail traders are going to be able to short. Most of them can't short penny stocks, so they're always usually hard to borrow, but this stock is actually easy to borrow. So I've already done some active shorting on it, but I would recommend probably watching this one slightly long bias because it does have news. It's easy to borrow, and I feel like it's just getting a little overcrowded on the short side maybe. So we'll be watching this one long bias today. This wedge pattern's holding really well. Shorts have not been able to knock this wedge pattern down. Essentially what they're trying to do is get this wedge to break to the downside and stop out all these longs so it goes and panics over like that. That's what the shorts want right now. And the bulls are holding it up pretty well. So they might be able to force a squeeze to the long side before this day concludes. All right. So you'll see I have marked on the chart 4-hour deviation and daily chart 1 deviation here. You'll see maybe if I bring it back, where'd it go? Right there. Daily chart 1 deviation. So I'll show you what these lines are. So we have this line here, and we got this line here. These are the daily chart levels that we traded bearish off. Bearish here, bearish here. So if I go and look at the 4-hour chart, you will see that deviation line, which actually needs to be adjusted now. So it's right there. Okay, and then the daily chart, when I flip to the daily chart, will be right in here, right, which actually needs to be adjusted. So I can remove that, add a new one right there. So when we go look at the intraday chart, these are the two most reliable resistance marks. That's why we stopped there. And so I shorted here, other people shorted here. If the market starts to break through these prices, we could see a big jump from the stock. So we're going to be watching this long bias, because I know that there's enough people that are actively being bearish on the stock. Now, in terms of where this price could get to today, what we think is possible is all the way to, maybe it was a 4-hour chart. I mean, really the gap's kind of been filled. So we were thinking maybe you get a gap fill up to about 660. So that would be all the way up here, right? So there is a gap to fill on this chart. So we're thinking maybe a move to the 660s as a gap fill. If in the event you're extra lucky, maybe you get a move towards 767. But for the time being, we're not really looking for anything over 788. More likely we'd be looking long to 660, but nothing more over the 780s mark. All right. Next thing I want to touch on is RKT. RKT is obviously a stock that's been ripping the past couple days. Pretty much just wanted to come on here and let you know that the stock is probably going to be bearish today. This looks like the exhaustion top where we try to squeeze off and then it just fell apart. So it looks like the stock is exhausted. It is on its way down. For the time being, RKT probably has somewhere down towards 29 to 28 right now. First thing you should think is that it's going to come back to retest the all-time high break level, so you can see how the candle is continuously coming down. So the first line that I would expect, or price I would expect we would see RKT down to, is probably going to be around 34.44. Is it going to sell all the way down to 29 today? Debatable. But if in the event you see the price down towards 29, 28, you definitely want to be long bias RKT at those price points. next thing is we'll take a look at the SPY, and we'll take a look at, well, first let's start with the NASDAQ or the Qs. So market's bearish. We sent out in our morning newsletter or email that we send out to subscribers, which is completely free, which you can get if you want by going to our website, boilerroomtrading.com, and then just signing up for the email newsletter. There's short little snippets we send out each morning, nothing too crazy. But we did recommend in that newsletter to be more bearish the market today. You can see all this morning we've been dropping out. We anticipate that we're going to see continued selling. So there's really one thing that I want to point out, and that's pretty much, we're going to look at like a 10-day, 30-minute chart. There is a inverse head and shoulders formation in the market, and if this does not hold, then we're going to see the market probably fall apart. So you can see we have a head and shoulders formation, okay, and the market right now is rolling down. So there's a good chance you're going to see the market continue selling off to about 315 to arguably 314s, so that it kind of forms this head and shoulders formation. Now, if the market starts to break down below, let's say 314, it starts to get kind of weak here, and it wants to continue grinding down, that's where we could expect that the market's going to fall apart. So pretty much you're looking to see the market hold support around 314. If it fails to do that, 315.85 as well. So if the market starts falling below like 315.85, 314, the market's probably falling apart, and we're going to continue this downswing, in which if that happens, then we'll be looking to target somewhere towards 295 in the market. So essentially, NASDAQ still bearish. SPY will continue to be bearish if the NASDAQ continues to be bearish. So we're really looking for this market to continue decreasing through the prices of 315. And then if we see the NASDAQ near the prices of 293, 294 within the next week or so, then we'll be long biased the market. So really the other way of thinking about this is we are looking for daily chart bounces on the NASDAQ at like 234 or 294, whatever it was I just said. So that should give you kind of a heads up on how we're feeling about the market. We anticipate we're going to see some bearish activity today, maybe continuing to next week. So it's all about whether or not this inverse head and shoulders holds up. And if you ask me, I don't think it is. I think that's kind of the hopefulness speaking, but really I think you're going to see this market continue to get a little bearish. So that being said, that's pretty much the only things we're watching today. We're always keeping an eye on NEO. We're always watching Facebooks and Apples and things of that nature. But what we'll probably be watching for some active trading is going to be RKT and OVID at this point. Hope you guys learned something new from the watch list. As always, thanks again for tuning in. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button so the YouTube algorithm kicks in. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.